Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your patience and your understanding, all of your well wishes. Thank you so much to all of you that have helped get me out of the Instagram slammer as well. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and you guys know that Rafi loves you. So thank you so much for being a part of Radiant Reality and sticking by me. So these weekly generals, what are they? I started these probably I think it's about a year and some ago now, and it's basically because what myself and the subbies, you guys, were noticing was that there were certain elements of each part of the reading that would resonate as kind of like a whole message. And so rather than, you know, sporadically putting out like a key to the week message, I formulated this weekly general as a general overview of the energy trends and themes that are likely to be experienced by all of us. All of this informed by my intuitive message, which every week I go into my intuition, I drop down into that space and I ask the universe, what do we need to know this week? Sometimes this will speak to us on the microcosmic level, sometimes it will be about what's happening with world events, and sometimes it's just a mishmash of all of the above. Some people have said it also sounds like a bit of a coaching session or a sermon, so either which way, I love it all, and I love you guys, and thank you so much for all of your support. With that said, before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. Doing things slightly different this week, but the intuitive message this week, as you can see, is illumination takes many forms. So when I went into my meditation this week, what I actually saw was a black sun. And it was really interesting because I was like, okay, that's a bit of a juxtaposition. Why are you showing me this? And basically the message that I got from that was, you can find light, the light, a lighter perspective, even in some of the darkest moments or experiences that you ever have. This is like when you look back over your past or your history, your personal history, and you kind of say to yourself, okay, that was really awful, but actually look at what I learned from it. I have another example that I want to give, but it's really sensitive, so I think actually I will probably refrain. I don't want to get myself into the YouTube slammer as well. But yeah, this really speaks to that idea. It's like, don't be afraid this week. Like if you find yourself more reflective, we're in Cancer season after all, so it's a very reflective sign, it's a very feely sign. So if you're more in your feels over the last week, you know, and this week ahead, it's not a surprise. We're all in that space at this moment in time, and it will be hitting everybody's chart in a different way because we're feeling what, you know, all of our stuff maybe a little bit deeper this week. The message of illumination takes many forms is, it's a reminder. It's not a cliche. This isn't about saying like, oh, you know, well, this awful time in my, it's not about toxic positivity. We're not doing that. We don't do that here. If you've watched any of my tarot readings over the years, you know we don't do that here. But what I am saying is, if you are experiencing something challenging, if you're going through something right now, this isn't about slapping a plaster on it and saying, yay, everything's fine, you know, and putting that really forced shark teeth smile. It's not about that. It's about acknowledging, okay, this experience sucks. This is heavy. This is not enjoyable right now, but there is a reason that I'm going through this. And just like in hindsight of all of the previous challenges that I've faced, I realized that there was a bigger message, purpose, idea or thing beyond that. You are going through something now in order to ascend or to find some kind of illumination. So illumination takes many forms, and sometimes it will be through challenge. So if you find yourself in that space this week, not only are you not alone, but there is a higher purpose to it. All right, so hang on in there. With that said, this week we're going to have we're definitely going to have a human design oracle deck card. You're not even going to believe. You just know, like, you know, the gate 33 and looking back. I mean, you literally cannot make this stuff up, right? And this is one of the things that I love about what I do, it's one of like, you literally saw the card jump out, right? So obviously we were supposed to use this deck, and obviously we were supposed to have this message. So there's a few interesting things about this. First of all, there's the number 33. Number 33 is the energy of tapping into the universal cosmos, into the universal consciousness, and ascending beyond this 3D realm to find your own true potential. That's the number 33 in a very minuscule sort of nutshell. You couple that with the dragonfly. The dragonfly is actually a symbol of immortality. And what this says to me is, this week we could be tapping into wrapping up a very old cycle, maybe one that transcends lifetimes, if you believe that. I personally do. However, this could also be some event that took place in your personal history in this time round on the merry-go-round, and maybe something makes sense to you this week. But if you find yourself looking back, if you find yourself more reflective, it wouldn't be a surprise. I mean, look, you know, I've been doing this a fair amount of time now, and I will never, like, when I stop being awed by this work, when I stop being surprised by it, I'll stop doing it. So I am right there with all of you, but just, you know, you gotta laugh, right? You have to smile, because you just can't make, okay. And now I'm throwing all the decks all over the floor. That's a few too many, so I'm going to put them back in. It's like 10 cards. This would be a very long reading at that point. So for our direction card, how do we best tap into the gate 33, which is about illumination and realization, but through looking at all the guise of the past. So the direction energies are the Ace of Pentacles, old ideas, projects, or maybe even interviews that never got off the ground are coming back in this week, which could potentially be very lucrative as well. With the Empress card, this is not only old ideas, but this is old aesthetics. You got the Ace of Pentacles with the Empress card. This is a very fruitful endeavor that comes into being over the course of this week, whilst utilizing past knowledge, resources, ideas. It's not quite the same as something coming back off the shelf. This is something new that is being birthed with knowledge that you've had previously. And then you've got the Emperor. I mean, so look, when you get the Emperor, this is so interesting as well, by the way. Why? Because we've got a new moon this week in the sign of Cancer. The sun and the moon, masculine and feminine energy coming together to combine something, is a conception or an inception. And we've got the Emperor and the Empress alongside the Ace of Pentacles. So what this tells me is that there is definitely something new being seeded. There's definitely something new being planted this week. It's powerful, it's dynamic, and it's probably happening behind the scenes, because you know, we are in Cancer season. This could also be a powerful week for balancing your own masculine and feminine energies, and that's the message behind the energy of the number 33, right? The number 3 itself is the combination of masculine and feminine to create something new, which is a hybrid of both. You've got the double 3 energy there. The Empress was also number 3, I might add. You've got the Empress and the Emperor, and you've got this with the Ace of Pentacles. So on a really mundane level, we could probably see a new power couple being formed. We could probably see like a celebrity couple that announced that they're dating, and it could be like a whole hubbub. I get a feeling that this might be a reconnection, you know, like when what are they called, Bennifer got back together. It was like a whole, you know, hoo-ha. This could be another one of those kinds of things where a couple realigns or comes back together, and it's a bit of a surprise. On a more sort of philosophical level, that is masculine and feminine energy coming together to conceive something. So the best way for us to get ahead, the direction energy, is about how we utilize this destiny energy. Whatever you are birthing, whatever you are creating or bringing out into the world, it is something new. but you're using old techniques, old contacts, old resources. So like I said, it's not that you're bringing something back into the fold just to kind of brush it up and release it. This is something completely new, but you're using all of the old material to make something brand new. And that for me is like cosmic recycling, and I love it. I'm so here for it. Yeah, I really, really like that. In terms of our insight cards, so this is energies that we may not be aware of, what's happening behind the scenes or coming in that we probably do need to be aware of. And this week we have the Chariot card. I love this, especially with the looking back. So, you know, for those of you, is there a place in your life that you've been to that you've had wonderful, powerful insights or energetic shifts in? Maybe a visit back to that place might be relevant. We've got the Five of Pentacles. This, for me, is a potential material or financial cost that you are not anticipating, and this could be to do with a car. It could also be to do with a journey or some form of travel that maybe doesn't go ahead, or maybe one that you choose to cancel. And then we've got the Wheel of Fortune. So literally, when you see these, the Chariot card represents a vehicle. The Wheel of Fortune can literally represent the wheels of a car. And then you've got the Five of Pentacles. So this is, you know, on a really mundane level, again, see to your car, maybe get your tires changed. It's really funny because this message came up, I think, for Aquarius not too long ago. And the day after, I found like I had a flat tire at the back, and I was like, you know what, that's a nod from the universe. So I just replaced all four of them. Yeah, it was a little bit of a dent in the pocket, but it was worth doing because now I'm a lot more sure and all the rest of it. On a more sort of you know, macrocosmic level, this could be that the travel industry goes through yet another upheaval, and there are, you know, I mean, we're seeing a lot of cancellations anyway, but be mindful of that. I would say this is probably not a week to book new trips. That's my advice on that front. However, outside of that, this also suggests I don't want to say like a backhanded victory, but it's like, you know, when you win something, but it doesn't feel like a win because it's like you win by default. Watch out for that, because, you know, even if it is a win by default, it's still a win, and this could still be something that ends up being very relevant for your life path moving forward. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't cut your nose off to spite your face just because it doesn't come in the package that you expected to see it. Okay, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.